Carlos and Lisa. I'm Lisa Remillard.
And I'm Carlos Amisko. It's nice to have you with us today. All right, this holiday weekend, plenty of us will be heading outside to celebrate by the water, whether it's a backyard pool party or just a family trip to the beach.
Yeah, sadly though, some of those celebrations will end in tragedy. Drowning is the leading cause of unintentional deaths in kids from the ages of 1 to 4.
I hate to report those.
I know.
It happens every single year, people just not paying attention. You might remember country music star Granger Smith lost his 3-year-old son to an accidental drowning in a family pool just last month.
And of course, last year, you'll probably remember when Olympic star Bodie Miller's 19-month-old daughter drowned in a neighbor's pool.
Now, we don't want to get you down this holiday weekend.
No.
We just want you to be aware of what's out there and the threat and the danger. You turn away for a couple seconds, and the kids are in the water.
Well,
they're attracted to it.
So the reason why we want to bring it up is just that point, because there's going to be a lot of kids around.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your family, the extended family is going to show up, and all the kids. And you know, sometimes when there's so many of them, it's hard to keep track of all of them when you're trying to cook and you're trying to entertain, and then the kids and the pool's there or the beach is there. So we want to make sure you just have all the information and most importantly, what to do in case something happens.
But if you're confronted with a situation where there's somebody at the bottom of the pool, what do you do next? If a child has, this is just a horrific thing. I mean, the thing, I remember listening to Bodie Miller's, impassioned plea to get people to pay attention, to be close enough to always know where your kids are doing, what they're into.
And the thing is that I've talked to a lot of moms, a lot of my mom friends are like, I turned away for 2 seconds and my kid was in the pool and I jumped in with my full clothes, everything on.
One of my biggest fears raising children was that.
Well, of course, living in Southern California, there's so much access to water here. So that's why we asked Ventura County Fire Captain Brian McGrath to talk about all of the pool safety, water safety all summer long. Hi. Thank you.
Nice to have you.
You know,
I know a lot of firefighters in LA, Orange, and Ventura County. You guys do a great service, and we so appreciate everything you do for us. But the one thing that I hear more than anything else is the most tragic thing they can confront is the death of a child or anything that has to do with children. Tell me why you think people get so careless and don't watch their own children.
Well, I don't want to call it careless because it, like you mentioned earlier, it only takes 2 seconds. Yeah. And we all have a lot of things going on. If you're throwing a party at your house and you're entertaining, you're watching the pool, careless wouldn't be an appropriate way to say it.
What is it? What is the appropriate way?
It's an accident. I mean, things happen so quickly. And that's why it's important just to take a few extra steps. If you're going to have an organized party at your house, hire a lifeguard.
No one thinks about doing that.
No one thinks about it.
Yeah.
There's private services out there that you can hire a lifeguard for your pool party.
Wow.
And a lot of people do that, and it's totally appropriate.
Okay, let's talk about how quickly things can go awry, especially like you're saying in a situation like that. How quickly can a drowning occur?
It happens in just seconds. You think you pull everybody out of your pool because people are leaving, and the next thing you know, your kid sneaks by, or maybe not even your child. Your child might be trained, but your friend's child doesn't have the training at the level that your child has, wants to go back in the pool, and the kid is going to do what they want to do. And
is it a matter of seconds that a drowning can occur, or is it a minute, like a minute where they're struggling?
It's a matter of seconds. They're going to be in the pool. You're not going to think anything. You're going to think everything's okay. The next thing you know, they're going to be face down, or they're going to be going to the bottom of the pool. It's not like the dramatics that you see in the movies where they're flailing for moments. You think they're playing. They could be flailing, but you think they're playing. Next thing you know, you turn around and they're in the water.
Right.
There's also a silent thing, because a lot of times you don't hear anything. They don't scream. Because they're gulping water and they go under pretty quickly. I've seen it.
They're not
horrific.
able to scream. It's they're just going underwater.
Yeah.
And it just takes those few moments.
All right. Before we talk about the CPR element, which is important because I think everybody should just know the basics, and you're going to share that with us. But before we do that, I want to just talk about some of the outside protections that you can put on your pool, and perhaps those aren't even enough to stop a kid or anybody from going in.
Of course, there's outside protection you can put in your pool. You got the fences, you have the child-safe pool ladders, you have the netting you can put over the pools. But if a child wants to get into something, they're going to get into it. I mean, I've seen them scale those child-safe ladders. I've seen them climb up your countertops because they want to get the Cheerios that are on the top.
Right.
Children are very resilient, and they're going to get what they want.
Do fences usually help?
Fences help a ton, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you're having a party, that fence and that pool netting isn't on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about rescue, because from the moment that we would discover some child unresponsive in the water, you pull the child out and someone calls 911, there's going to be 4, 5 to 6 minutes, depending on how far the EMTs are, to what you need to do right now to make sure that that child has a fighting chance to live. Tell us what the process is.
So at that point, you've said 2 of the main steps. You pull them out of the pool, they're not responsive, so their alert level's not there.
Mm-hmm.
You immediately call 911. If you happen to be by yourself, dial 911, put your phone on speakerphone, set it next to you, and start doing compressions.
What does that mean?
A compression is where you're gonna put your hands in between your palm of your hand, in between the nipples, right on the sternum, on the breastbone, and push down hard. You want to get down a third of the chest depth, so that way you can get down and push the hard enough. Because think about it, you've got to get through that chest bone to get in. A child's body is going to be really small, so you're not going to be pushing too far and too hard. And you just want to start beating. The typical song you hear is "Staying Alive,"
Right.
so 100 beats a minute. That's what your minimum you want to get going.
Okay, so the truth of the matter is this happened to me at one point, and I was faced with the moment when I had to do CPR.
Yes.
And I have been on the news a long time, and I've interviewed a lot of folks like you have. And that "Staying Alive" song, the only thing I could think in that moment was, okay, staying alive, and that's how we do it. But I was still not confident in what I was doing. So you're saying heel of the hand here,
Between
right
nipples,
here,
on the breastbone.
and then how? Staying alive. And then aren't you supposed to like blow into somebody's mouth? I had all these questions. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, that's
So
frightening.
first of all, you did great because you did something.
Right.
That is a huge thing
Thank
that
you
we're
for
trying to
helping me.
overcome.
Like, be okay with that?
You helped. We need people to help in those situations. So all it is now is compressions.
No breath.
No breaths.
Okay.
Because think about it. What you're exhaling into that person is a lot lower percentage than what's in the air. Because you've already taken the 21% of oxygen that we breathe
that
in.
makes sense.
Yeah.
You're exhaling a lower percentage. So you're putting that lower percentage into that person's
Not
body.
helpful.
So when you're doing a compression, it's compressing the diaphragm, which is sucking in little bits of air.
Okay.
And then you have air and oxygen already in your blood.
Let me ask you about the water. Where does the water go when you're drowning?
When you're drowning, it fills your lungs. So
You can't push that water out?
when you're doing chest compressions, you are compressing that diaphragm again, which is compressing those lungs and starting to get that stuff out. But it's important that you continue those compressions until first responders get there and we get that transport to the
So
hospital.
just go.
The entire
Just
time,
keep
don't
going.
stop.
And yeah, just keep going and you don't stop until if you get too tired, someone comes in and relieves you.
And I know that there's always it's like here you're trying to save a child's life and you don't want to injure the child while you're doing the compressions. And that's just a feel thing? Don't have hard to push?
Well, we do have hands-only CPR trainings within Ventura County, and it's a matter of getting down and pushing deep enough, getting it hard. It is kind of a feel thing, but you want to ensure that you're getting deep enough.
Yeah.
It will hurt the person. But
that's okay.
That's okay. At the state they're at right now, they would rather have some pain.
All right. Well, that's some great advice,
Thank you
great
for
tips.
being here.
Of course.
And look, if you're taking your family out to the beach or going anywhere near a pool, get your kids into swim lessons early so that at least you have the confidence that your kids can survive, even if they're not great swimmers, that they have some basic skills in swimming.
And pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Keep your eye on them.
Yeah, most of my kids could swim before they could walk, so I was
Yeah.
very much into that.
Yeah.
In fact, I wanted them on the surfboards at 3.
Right. All right, Brandon, thank you for coming in.
Of course.
Great to have you
Anytime.
here.